Hey V's, I'm Marie from Humblebee and Me, and today we are making a super simple eye makeup remover. So it's really gentle and it's really concentrated. I've made it without the water, so you add the water at the time of use on the little cotton pad that you're using to take off your eye makeup. And so this means we don't need preservatives, which removes a potential source of irritation, which I think is awesome. It also means that you end up with a lot smaller product, so it makes it really, really great for traveling with. So ingredient number one is fractionated coconut oil. And I chose this because it's cheap and it's relatively light. So you can absolutely switch this up for any other sort of cheap, light oil you happen to have on hand, like grapeseed oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil, almond oil, anything that's in that sort of inexpensive and not really heavy realm is an awesome choice. The ingredient that makes this a makeup remover instead of sort of just oil, because you can use just plain sort of oil and water on a pad to take off your eye makeup, and it does work pretty well, but the rinse off just really isn't that awesome. You kind of end up with a really oily eye area, and sometimes you end up with oil in your eye and then you're sort of blinking for hours trying to get this like floating blob of oil off your eye, and so it's not the world's greatest experience. So I have amped this up and given it much better cleansing power by including Olivem 300. So Olivem 300 is a thin, light liquid ester. It is oleic acid that has been made to be water soluble. So it's both oil and water soluble. It's super cool. It's basically an emulsifier. Now I know a bunch of you are gonna ask me if you can use Olivem 1000. Olivem 1000 is solid, so no Olivem 1000. It's a completely different product. And if you're looking for other alternatives, polysorbate 80 is going to be your best bet, but it can be kind of sticky, so I probably would still really prefer Olivem 300. Please don't use turkey red oil for this. Turkey red oil is really neat. It is, fun fact, the first detergent we ever invented. It is castor oil that's had sulfuric acid added to it. So you don't want to be rubbing that anywhere near your eye. It does effectively disperse in water for sure, but it definitely has the potential to be really irritating, so it's not a good choice for eye products, so please don't do that. Our last ingredient is vitamin E, and this one is kind of optional. We're making this in such a small batch that retarding rancidity probably isn't a problem if you use eye makeup remover with any amount of frequency, and if you're using fractionated coconut oil, it has a super long shelf life, and so does Olivem 300. So you're not really that concerned about going rancid, but you can absolutely include it if you have it, and we don't use very much of it, so. Before we dive in, I wanted to do a little demonstration so you can see how it works, which is awesomely. So, you will notice I'm wearing eye makeup. This is not makeup I made. I chose store-bought makeup for this demo because I find that store-bought makeup is like the hardest stuff to get off, and I specifically chose these two products. So these are both from Benefit. This is the They're Real mascara and the They're Real push-up liner. Now, neither of these things are like outright waterproof, but I love this mascara. I love store-bought mascaras. They're one of my kind of guilty pleasures and happy points in life. But dear heavens, this stuff, it's like the mascara you can put on 3 times a week and still be wearing mascara, and then you take it off every single night even though you didn't put it on that day, and it still comes off. What? And you wake up in the morning and you look like a raccoon. Like this stuff I find it's really hard to get off. So I thought this would be a really good demonstration. So for our demonstration, we have the makeup remover here. As you can see, it's a teeny little dropper bottle, and then I have some cotton pads and a little bit of water. So I'm just going to dampen a cotton pad. This is just a little dish of water. Usually, obviously, this would be like in my bathroom under a sink, but we aren't in my bathroom, for which we can all be grateful. And then I'm going to grab a couple drops of the eye makeup remover, pop it on this damp cotton pad here, and then we soak. You generally want to soak your eye makeup off rather than be like, because that really delicate skin around your eyes, man. Be kind to them. So you can see that's getting a lot of black off. And I'm going to do another one for extra measure because I put on a lot of black pigment on my face. So I bought these cotton pads at Costco. So of course I have 2,000 of them. It seemed like a good idea at the time because, before you start buying things at Costco, you're like, I go through things quickly. Nobody goes through things Costco quickly, dear heavens. So something that's really neat about this eye makeup remover is that when you get the cotton pad wet and you drop the eye makeup remover on it, it just disappears into the wet cotton. It does such a good job of immediately dissolving with the oil, or sorry, with the water in the cotton pad, so you don't end up with this really oily experience. All right, now that eye feels pretty naked, and it also feels kind of damp, which I suppose shouldn't surprise me. Just give that a little dry off. But yeah, there you go. So that eye doesn't feel irritated at all. It's just nice and clean. And I don't have like a great big oil slick around my eye either, which I really appreciate. You can probably see that it's not like really shiny. So woohoo. So yeah, this eye makeup remover is super, super simple to make. It works like a charm, and yeah, you should make some. So come on, let's get started. All right, so this is so absurdly easy. I'm not even going to measure everything out in advance. We're just going to free pour it into our container. If you do this, I recommend having a fairly accurate scale. So this one is accurate to 0.01 grams. And this allows us to work up to small amounts. I find that if you have a scale that's only accurate to 1 gram, it usually doesn't register much below 3 grams. And then making things in amounts this small gets tricky. All right, so we're going to start with our Olivem 300. So you can see it sort of dissolved the ink on the label, but we'll need 4 grams of that. All right, close enough. And then for our fractionated coconut oil, we're going to need 16 grams. Now that we're getting close, I'm going to pull out a disposable pipette and use that to do the last couple grams here. So since we're doing only 2 ingredients, if we'd over poured on the Olivem 300 when the beaker still had nothing but Olivem 300 in it, you could have poured the excess back in. And then when you have the fractionated coconut oil, you just use the dropper towards the end so that you can go a drop at a time and you don't accidentally have a great big glug. And now I'm just going to do a drop of vitamin E. Give that a stir. This gets a little milky looking. And that's literally it. So we're going to pop this in a bottle. And so please make sure that this is a dropper bottle or some sort of a bottle that you're not going to incorporate water into. Because if you can incorporate water into it, it can spoil, and you don't want anything with mold near your eyes. And that is literally it. You got a little bit excess here, so you might actually want to consider, if you're using a 15 milliliter bottle, instead of doing a 4 and 16 gram batch, you might want to consider doing a 3 and 12 gram batch for a better fit. There you go. You just made a super simple, gentle eye makeup remover. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. Check the description box below for the full written recipe and for links to this recipe on my blog, where you can find links to all of the ingredients and all of the equipment I used. See you next time.